RHP, USW, LMAA, PLC, UPS, DPD. Are you familiar with all of these? Probably not. They're not actually from the advertising world. They're taken from the lyrics of the song called MFG from a German rap group, Die Fantastischen Vier. But the advertising world doesn't sound so much different, does it? SSP, DSP, DMP, RTB, ROI, ASO, SEO, you name it. Automation of advertising has made vast promises on targeting and measurement capabilities, while in reality it often left advertisers in a jungle of technologies and users feel watched and followed all the time. Now with GDPR, 4 letters this time, the lawmakers have even changed the rule of the game. I don't think I would overdo if I call our next speaker Mr. Advertising of France. Frédéric Olivennes is the president of the IAB France, and he's managing director France of Weborama, a leading data company in France. He has 25 years of experience in media businesses, working for several TV and radio stations, including Arte. In his presentation, he will show you 7 things that every marketeer should know. Please give a round of applause, Frédéric.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very difficult to pass after this very precise outbrain presentation. And mostly, I've been so stupid to call my presentation that way. Absolutely not. It's not something you should know. That is not what I wanted to talk to you. It's just 7 topics that are important to me that I wanted to share with you, which are some very political, some others more technical. So don't expect to learn anything magic from what I'm going to say today. The first thing I want to share with you, so really it's a diversity of topics with no links between them. The first thing I want you to share with me is about data and privacy. I don't know if some of you have heard that yesterday Tim Cook, the head of Apple, was attacking very hardly in Brussels data companies, all these major companies making money out of data, taking the role of the main defender of our privacy in the world. This is a very interesting thing because, as you know, what is at stake is not only privacy, it's also growth, which is the subject of this SCALE18. GDPR has decided that every data is now personal data, where in the past there were separations between proper personal data and more profiling data. So now everything is personal data, and I think we should still separate those in 2 categories. There are really personal data, such as those concerning our political opinions, those concerning our sexual life, our communities, religion, and so on, health. Those we share thoroughly on Facebook, for example. Those data should be inviolated, absolutely not profilable unless we consent very expressively. On the other hand, you have consumers' data. For example, I want to buy an inflatable small swimming pool for my garden because the summer will be hot and my little children have to refresh a little bit. These are not of the same type. The threat on my privacy is not of the same importance. But on the other hand, if I don't share those, well, this is the growth of those who are building those inflatable swimming pools, which will be a little threatened in this world of digital transformation, of e-business. And when you see the importance of Amazon today, if we don't allow not only the digital businesses, which are really fluent with data, but the traditional businesses, which are struggling to transform and to learn how to sell their products in the digital world, if we don't help them to understand this data business, which is, for me, the fuel of this digital growth, so we will face a lot of problems with traditional economies. And at the end, it's the jobs of our children which are at stake. That's my opinion. I have old children who are now looking for a job, and if we don't allow traditional businesses, not only the big, also the smaller, to transform and to use our consumer data to understand how to sell their product to us, we will have a major problem. That's the first thing I wanted to share with you. It's a matter of education. Explain to people who are around us that all the data are not the same. You have the right to don't agree with me, of course. Second idea, and you see there's no link between those two ideas. I am absolutely fed up of all these acronyms. And I think you, Christian, reminded a little bit how funny it is. In France, we had this buzzword DMP. My company is selling a DMP, a very good one actually, competing with the Americans. And now the buzz is something called CDP, Customer Data Platform. When you dig a little bit, it's exactly the same, in fact. And now there's another buzzword called CMP, probably the son of the two former ones. No, it's something completely different. It's a consent management platform. What I wanted to share with you is, in my opinion, all these acronyms that are invented by failing companies struggling to survive. So the experience we have, and Christian reminded that I'm managing Weborama in France, which is a data company, a tech company, not only this pro bono responsibility as president as IAB France. What I understand of these technological choices is that the question is more whether you take a full stack from Salesforce or Adobe, or will you take separate solutions to assemble your marketing toolbox, and in doing that you will have more work, but you will get more sovereignty on your digital marketing. So what I wanted to share with you is that technical choices are political decisions, in fact, more than what we think. And I should invite you to read what Lauren Johnson wrote on this subject in Business Insider, the 10th of October, so recently. Third topic, again something quite different. Nowadays, environment is key to corporations. Nowadays, diversity and equality between men and women is absolutely central in the politics of companies. We work in responsible corporations, all of us, and citizenship is not anymore only a personal matter. It should be the same for advertising and marketing. Why? Because if you think of the ad spends going to the GAFAs, you know, there's a saying in France which says that for €1 switching from traditional medias to digital, there's 1.20 euros switching to Google. When you look at that, when you think of that, it is a major threat to our society. Don't be mistaken. The GAFAs are not to blame at all. They are doing a great job. They are bringing performance, and they push their advantage. They follow their logics, and it's absolutely. If I were there, I would do exactly the same. The question is the responsibility of advertisers. If they don't give traditional medias the means to survive, it's a threat to society. It's not only the newspapers with political articles. It's also the magazines. It's every type of media which are doing the society in which we live. So what I believe deeply is that it is time to promote a marketing citizenship, and it's from the top of the companies that this movement can be done. It's not the marketing executives who are day-to-day applying to deliver performance for their companies. Let's switch to something a bit different. We hear a lot about audio at the moment, and obviously it's one of the major facts that should be considered at the moment. Audio is going to change the way we use our devices. Vocal assistants are going to develop because it's so convenient. And I don't know if you use already your vocal solutions with your mobile, but it works very well now. So what it says about marketing is something I feel that we have a little bit forgotten, maybe, is that branding is key. If your brand is not top of mind when someone in his house is going to call his vocal assistant for an info or buying a product on Amazon, for example, where will you be? So we thought that digital and tech marketing would lead us to only a performance marketing strategy. It is not. Branding still matters a lot and will still matter a lot. Another thing I wanted to share with you is about attribution and contribution models. Obviously, and everyone knows that now, digital marketing is a multi-touchpoint exercise. And with audio, I've just mentioned it before, in-store, obviously, mobile, obviously. There are more and more touchpoints with our consumers, the people we want to target. In the same time, to succeed in embracing a global marketing strategy, companies have to go into people-based strategies, try to monitor their touch points and their actions towards all those levers intelligently, cleverly. It's also a question of protecting our brands, your brands, and protecting also the people. So why attribution or contribution models are so stupid compared to this complexity? They are promoting each type of attribution model is at the end promoting the winner, which takes all, and you know what it is: search. So what I suggest is that companies should invest now in complex, clever, machine learning driven attribution or contribution models, whatever you call that, to try to measure how all the levers are interacting all together, how you can monitor the pressure, the repetition in this world. And this is, I think, one of the key issues companies will have to face in the future. Data-driven marketing and art of execution. At Weborama, in my company, we've led dozens of data projects, DMP projects. In France, my clients are Renault, the French automotive construct brand, the National Post, the National Electricity Company, a major telecom company. What we've learned from those experiences of leading very important data strategy project is the following. Once you have verified that your partner, your technical partner, is covering your technical requirements, the key success factor is human. The key success factor is how you will organize your company to drive the project. We heard this morning in the other hall that a data-driven strategy is according what you do to what you learn from your consumer, from your customer, through data. Your first-party data, third-party data, and as we've just heard with Outbrain, you have a lot of things to do, such as lookalikes and things like that. So when I say that organization is the key success factor to succeed in leading a data-driven marketing strategy, it means that exactly on the same with strategy, you have to switch your organization from a lever-based model to an audience-based model. You can do that with the form of a steering committee, and each companies I've seen which have succeeded in implementing in the heart of its digital strategy the data has really organized the fact that people are working together and not anymore separately according to the levers in order to consider audience strategies. But I've heard that in the United States now companies are starting to organize themselves in a deep audience way, which means that people will be responsible for this or that type of audience, of segments of population to be addressed. Those companies should be the most mature ones, those who have already perfectly understood which are the macro, the major segments they have to address to succeed. And to finish, I just want to share what we believe in my company. Last night, I was dining with one of the two founders of DCMN, and he said, because I was talking about what we do, you know, once we tested with the campaign a strategy without any targeting, and it worked better than a strategy with data and with segments and with targeting. And I understand that sometimes a strategy with data can be quite disappointing, and a campaign can work better without any targeting than that was with you that we were talking about that yesterday. But my belief is that nowadays we have technologies to handle data. We have a lot of data available, also transactional, more and more transactional data. And we have lots of models to understand behaviors. In my company, for example, we are a specialist of natural language processing, which is a very interesting way to qualify behaviors on the internet. So with the help of all those levers, all those means, I think we are entering an era of scientific consumer knowledge, and that is not going to stop. It's going to grow and to become more and more important for performance in our companies. The problem is that in the last years, few people actually really knew how to leverage audiences. You could try to have this or that very clever segments, but mostly, let's say, media agencies, they had few people who really know how to activate them. Now I feel in my country at least, that there is more and more maturity everywhere about how to use properly segments. And when you use properly a segment that you have built really on purpose for a campaign, for one very specific purpose, for your brand, for your product, for your crisis, then it brings performance. You can learn a lot of things, and you can put that back in your intelligence model. So that is what I wanted to share with, and I think it is also what the head of Procter & Gamble brand, Mr. Pritchard, is saying all around the world at the moment, the first advertiser in the world. He said, we are much less investing without knowing what we do, but we use a lot of data, we use our DMP, and we have a much more clever way to scale one-to-one marketing. Thank you.